chosen to hear this, and you were chosen to build something that will last forever. Now the sky is yellow, and the beggar spoken, holding both hands open. Did the prophet's words mean nothing? Hey, yeah, we live in a sacred time together. Hey, yeah, writing the story of our lives. Hey, yeah, oh, it's hard to believe and it's hard to feel it. You wouldn't believe how much you're needed. You were chosen to be here. There are millions working. No, we're not alone. There are beautiful children who will have a future and a home. And if you build a home, you do it one step at a time. Maybe a drop in the ocean, but just like water, people rise. Hey, yeah, we live in a sacred time together. Hey, yeah, writing the story of our lives. It's hard to believe and it's hard to feel it. You wouldn't believe how much you're needed. You were chosen to be here. We live in a sacred time together. Hey, writing the story of our lives. It's hard to believe and it's hard to feel it. You wouldn't believe how much you're needed. You were chosen to be here.
You are listening to CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo, and that was You Were Chosen to Be Here by Isaac Murdoch featuring Shannon Paul. We are Two White Feather, Lori Gentle Eagle, Cedar the Emotional Support Pup, and her wolf pack, Rogue, Arrow, and Rufus. This is the Red Road Journey, where we aim to amplify Indigenous voices to heal ourselves, our relatives, our communities, and our planet. We are broadcasting from the traditional territories of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee people. And today on the Red Road Journey, we are going to focus on Disability Pride Month, which kicked off on July the 1st. The disability community is unique because it is the only marginalized group anyone can join at any time. It spans all ages, ethnicities, backgrounds, uniting a diverse population through shared experiences of accessibility barriers, adaptive problem solving, and the fight for inclusion and civil rights. The community stands out in several distinct ways. Unlike other demographic groups, disability is not fixed. People acquire disabilities due to illness, injury, or aging, meaning the community is constantly welcoming new members. The community fosters a rich culture centered around disability pride, adaptive arts, and historic milestones like the American Disability Rights Movement, highlighted in Crip Camp. With over 1.3 billion disabled people globally, it is highly diverse. Experiences differ drastically depending on whether a disability is visible, invisible, episodic, and whether a person belongs to other intersecting groups, such as Indigenous or senior populations. Flags symbolize solidarity, pride, and acceptance. And in 2019, writer Anne McGill, who has cerebral palsy, created the original Disability Pride flag. McGill was motivated to create the flag after a less than pride-filled experience at an ADA anniversary event. The original flag featured brightly colored zigzagging stripes over a black background. The zigzag symbolized the barriers people with disabilities face. However, this design caused symptoms in individuals with visually triggered disabilities when viewed on devices. Following community suggestions, McGill refined the flag. She straightened the stripes, muted the colors, and reordered them to accommodate red-green color blindness. She showed how our community works together when we face conflicting access needs. The new flag design is a collaborative effort, representing the community's unity when addressing challenges. McGill also waived her copyright, placing the flag in the public domain for everyone to use and remix. The diagonal band of 6 color stripes cut across the barriers, separating the disabled from society, representing light and creativity cutting through darkness. Each of the 6 color stripes hold meaning. We have red for physical disabilities, gold for neurodiversity, white for invisible disabilities and undiagnosed conditions, blue for emotional and psychiatric disabilities, green for sensory disabilities, including deafness, blindness, and other sensory disabilities, and a faded black background for mourning and raging for victims of ableist violence and abuse. Disability pride is crucial because it reframes disability as a natural part of human diversity rather than a defect to be hidden or pitied. It empowers individuals to subvert internalized ableism, fosters a distinct cultural identity, and demands equal access and systemic change. The importance of this movement spans several key areas. It provides a space where individuals can celebrate their unique experiences. Just as other communities have cultural heritage, the disability community has its own shared history, art, and language. For decades, society has viewed disability as a tragedy or something to be ashamed of. Pride pushes back against these narratives, allowing disabled individuals to openly exist and celebrate their inherent worth. Disability pride is deeply rooted in protest. Events, especially during Disability Pride Month, draw attention to ongoing systemic barriers, advocating for better housing, employment opportunities, and public accessibility. It invites abled individuals to learn about disability culture, to understand ableism, and recognize that inclusion is a fundamental human right. In 2026, the theme for Disability Pride is "The World Works Better with Us." And this is certainly true of one of the musicians that we've chosen to focus on today. Her name is Opal Starr, and we're going to play a little clip to introduce you to her, and then follow that up with one of her songs, the song being "Birds Hurting Birds Who Hurt Birds." But first, let's get to know this musician and woman from BC.
A couple of weeks ago, we told you about a nonprofit called Shift, supporting humanity in finding togetherness. It's all about inclusivity and community. Opal Starr is one of the people at the forefront of the group, a member of its inaugural board of directors. It's just one of the ways they give back, give of themselves, in spite of incredible challenges. Here is Opal Starr. This is Opal Starr. Their stage name is Opal Starr.
I am a solo parent and a musician, an artist, designer.
But the 43-year-old from Souk is more than that. They're a force, a presence. They mean a lot to many.
She comes as herself, so be prepared to show up as yourself too.
Opal is a star in our community.
They have always made giving back their priority, even in declining health.
I have a dynamic disability. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Sometimes I won't be seen in community at all because I'm just surviving.
Opal has Ehlers-Down syndrome and chronic fatigue syndrome. They get hemiplegic migraines that rob them of speech, vision, and ability to walk. They are in excruciating pain all the time.
While I have a lot of capacity to give and create, I can't be scheduled because I don't know in the future when I can work.
Opal lives with different medical challenges and is, I think, really brave about saying, like, I can do this and I'm not going to do that.
Their steadfast determination, self-awareness, and self-acceptance has rubbed off on others, too.
She's actually helped me grow quite a bit into being unapologetically me. And she shines a lot of light where you didn't even realize it was dark.
If there is a dark side to Opal, it's expressed through their music.
And stings like a
I describe my music not fast enough, not funny enough. It's not a lot like my personality. It's actually very serious. I think my music taps into the very serious side of me.
Opal was born into a family of musicians and has performed in a variety of capacities from a very young age.
And why are you here? Why did you come to Canadian Idol?
I wanted people to hear me sing.
They appeared on Canadian Idol and perform as much as they can.
Gone before you had it.
Opal's latest album, Birds Hurting Birds Who Hurt Birds, was released last year and is available on all platforms.
I'm a clown, but in my music, I'm very serious, and it's me unpacking a lot of trauma and sadness and fear, and I would say it's the kind of music you put on a rainy day when you want to have a little cry or feel moody.
Moody, serious, sad, it's all here, but what's also in Opal in everything they do is light. And it's all thanks to our mom, she says.
I was raised this way by my mother, who is a healer and spiritual teacher, who named me Opal and said, I'm not going to let anyone dull your shine.
Shine on, Opal. Shine on.
Be careful what you wish for. I wished for a very smart bird with pretty feathers who'd want to sit on a branch with me forever. Instead, I thought thought I saw birds. I thought I saw birds. I wished for a very smart bird with pretty feathers who'd want to sit on a branch with me forever. Instead, I thought I saw birds. I thought I saw birds. Birding birds who heard birds who heard birds. I need us to stop talking like strangers in a fight, like we did, and sleep curled up like lovers under the moon. Now how quick can you go? I feel fear. Take the long way home, but you can't stay here. With a bottle of tears and a tongue that shoots a cannon from an ally. Birds hurting birds who hurt birds. A cannon from an ally. Birds hurting birds who hurt. Cannon from an ally. Birds hurting birds who hurt. Cannon from an ally. Birds hurting birds who hurt birds. Be careful what you wish for. I wished for a very cute book with shiny wings who want to sit on a twig with me instead. The cicadas came out at once. Millions of bugs were on me at once. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
Okay, and that is Birds Hurting Birds Who Hurt Birds. Opal, Starr, and that's the title track from her album. I did not know she was on Canadian Idol, and it looks like it was roughly around the time when I was following that show very closely. So I had some friends, very dear friends, who were involved. So somehow I missed her, but I'm glad I found her at this point in time. And she mentions about her music giving her a voice in terms of dealing with unhealed trauma. I've been coming to terms with my own declining health over the last year or so. And in doing so, I came across a meme on social media, and it says, "I wish more people understood that unhealed childhood trauma doesn't just disappear. It shows up decades later as autoimmune disease, heart issues, chronic pain, fatigue, and mental health struggles. What happened to you at 4, 10, or 15 may still be influencing your health today as an adult." And I have been diagnosed recently with an autoimmune disease. It is affecting my thyroid. So we're working on stabilizing that and bringing more balance into my life. As many of you know, I also have arthritis, osteoarthritis in particular, affecting my knees, my feet, my hands, my shoulder, and I am constantly being monitored for rheumatoid arthritis as well. So a number of challenges, and all related to a nervous system that has been distressed and in survival mode for far too long. And one of the things that has been particularly difficult for me, believe it or not, is not so much any of the symptoms, although they are, can be very disabling at times. But the hardest part for me has really been about everything changing around me as a result of the diagnosis and disability. I've particularly experienced changes at work. I was accommodated very briefly in the scheme of things with a remote work assignment. And then that was being challenged by my employer, so much so that it actually led to me being forced to take some sick time. And so currently I am on a sick leave, not by choice. I felt very much that I was pushed into doing so because of the lack of understanding around accommodations and that process, and some ableist attitudes. So what do we mean by ableism? That may be a new term for some of you. Ableism is the discrimination of and social prejudice against people with disabilities. And it's based on the belief that so-called typical abilities are superior. It's rooted in the assumption that disabled people require fixing, and it defines people solely by their disability. Ableism classifies entire groups of people as less than, and it includes harmful stereotypes, misconceptions, and generalizations of people with disabilities. It can take many forms, including the lack of compliance with disability rights, laws. For instance, the right to a reasonable accommodation in the workplace. Segregating students with disabilities into separate schools. The use of restraint or seclusion as a means of controlling students with disabilities. Segregating adults and children with disabilities in institutions. Failing to incorporate accessibility into building design plans. Buildings without braille on signs, elevator buttons, etc. Building inaccessible websites. Using disability as a punchline or mocking people with disabilities. Refusing to provide reasonable accommodations. That's in there twice. How ironic. The eugenics movement of the early 1900s and the mass murder of disabled people in Nazi Germany. But what about everyday or what might be considered minor forms of ableism? What does that look like? Choosing an inaccessible venue for a meeting or an event. Therefore, you're excluding some people from participating. Using someone else's mobility device as a hand or footrest. Framing disability as either tragic or inspirational in news stories, movies, and other popular forms of media. Casting a non-disabled actor to play a disabled character. Making a movie that doesn't have audio description or closed captioning. Using the accessible bathroom stall when you are able to use the non-accessible stall without pain or risk of injury. Wearing scented products in a scent-free environment. Talking to a person with a disability like they are a child, or talking about them instead of directly to them, or speaking for them. Asking invasive questions about the medical history or personal life of someone with a disability. Assuming people have to have a visible disability to actually be disabled. Questioning if someone is actually disabled or how much they are disabled. Asking, how did you become disabled? Microaggressions are everyday verbal or behavioral expressions that communicate a negative slight or insult in relation to someone's disability. So when we're talking about ableist microaggressions, here's some examples. That's so lame. That guy is crazy. You're so retarded. Are you off your meds? It's like the blind leading the blind. My ideas fell on deaf ears. You're acting so bipolar today. I'm super OCD about how I clean my apartment. I don't even think of you as disabled. So what can we do to recognize and stop ableism? Well, we can believe people when they disclose a disability. Don't accuse people of faking their disability. Listen to people when they request an accommodation. Don't assume you know what someone needs. Never touch a person with a disability or their mobility equipment without consent. Keep invasive questions to yourself. Don't speak on behalf of someone with a disability unless they explicitly ask you to. Talk about disability with children and young people. Incorporate accessibility into your event planning. And learn more about being a good disability ally. And perhaps most importantly, make sure people with disabilities are at the table where decisions are being made. This next song that we're going to play is by Mattmac, featuring Rex Smallboy, two Indigenous artists who have used their lived and living experiences with disability, so Mattmac being blind and Rex Smallboy sharing his journey of healing from grief and loss with youth, in particular youth who struggle with addictions. So we're going to take a listen to their song that they did together. And this song is Give It Time.
I feel way I could live without the sun. Some people tell me that I knew what I'd become. You will never understand where I'm from. When I look back, there's so much that I've done, yeah. To only end up where the journey had begun, yeah. Celebration, but it ain't about the fun, yeah. I'm breaking cycles while I'm holding on to grudge. Been feeling lost, I don't know who to trust. Because I can't help but overthink and I feel stuck. Now you wonder why I'm calling off the plug. All these people talking, but there's nothing to discuss. I've been waiting for my time to come. Been going crazy and my mind is numb. The light is fading 'cause we're dying young. Yeah, this life's so amazing, feels like I am lost. Yeah, just give it time, and I'll be fine.
Hang in there, hold on tight, just keep fighting. Keep believing, don't give up, keep on trying. Take a chance, give it time, don't give up. Look inside, understand you good enough. You need to believe in yourself when no one cares. You need to continue to work with nobody there. The key is to visualize, living your best life. 24 hours a day, working the late nights. Nothing worth having is ever gonna be easy to get. Give it time, keep trying again and again. Hold yourself up with love and with pride. You are worthy, so give it time.
I've been waiting for my time to come. Been going crazy and my mind is numb. The light is fading 'cause we're dying young. Yeah, this life's so amazing, feels like I am lost. Yeah, just give it time, and I'll be fine.
Beautiful picture here at the end of Matt walking along the coastline. Did you know that Canada has a disability inclusion action plan? It is guided by the principles laid out in the Accessible Canada Act, including the phrase, "nothing without us." So persons with disabilities need to be involved in the development and implementation of all government systems, policies, programs, and services. It takes a human rights-based approach. Human rights principles need to guide the development and implementation of our systems, programs, and processes, including the principles of equality, anti-discrimination, participation, and inclusion. Intersectionality. Government systems, policies, programs, and services must take into account the different ways that persons interact with their environments and the multiple and intersecting forms of marginalization and discrimination faced by individuals. And there's 5 key objectives that the Disability Inclusion Action Plan looks at. The first one is to improve the social and economic inclusion of persons with disabilities. The second is to reduce poverty among persons with disabilities. To achieve the Accessible Canada Act goal of a barrier-free Canada by 2040. Number 4, develop a consistent approach to disability inclusion across the Government of Canada and make it easier for persons with disabilities to access federal programs and services. And lastly, to foster a culture of disability inclusion. And persons with disabilities represent a very diverse and significant portion of the Canadian population. In 2017, 1 in 5 people in Canada aged 15 years and over had at least one disability. So that's about 6.2 million people in Canada had at least one disability. About 1 in 3 Indigenous people have a disability. So a much higher rate than that of the general population. Disability is also most prevalent amongst seniors. So almost 2 in 5 of those 65 and over have a disability. In total, nearly 917,000 working age persons with disabilities lived in poverty in 2017. Of them, more than 550,000 were living in deep poverty. There are an estimated 1.9 million people with disabilities aged 15 to 64 who are not in school or employed. 852,000 of these people have the potential to work. This is significant, this next one. Well, they're all significant, but from 2009 to 2013, 84.3% of disability-related complaints were received by the Canadian Human Rights Commission, and they were directly tied to employment. I myself am headed there with what I'm going through. 50% of persons with disabilities reported experiencing barriers that limit their ability to move around public buildings and spaces. And nearly half, 45% of persons with disabilities have encountered barriers related to information and communication technologies, which is alarming to me. I certainly thought that we were improving in those areas. We have so much available to us in terms of technology to make these improvements. 30% of persons with disabilities report being treated badly or differently, often because of ideas, beliefs, or attitudes that others have about disabilities. So again, that piece about ableism and challenging that prejudice and discrimination is vital. Our next song comes from a musician and activist who has been missing from the scene for a while, until just recently, and we're certainly grateful to have her back. She was hit, no pun intended there, by a number of hardships over the last little while. A brain injury that she's in recovery from, the loss of her brother due to addiction, and then more recently we'll hear her speaking about, quote, a woman's health issue that took a while to be resolved. But first, let's hear one of her new songs. This is Kitty Starr, and the song is Destroyer.
This morning, it looked as though the sea had turned to treacle. It even sounded different. Kuwaiti oil gurgling ashore. Life in this area may never recover. Environmental catastrophe to the region.
till the fish can't swim no more. And our governments act surprised and throw down lies like they can't see the score. This planet's heating up. Wildfires got more heat than us. And I pity the officials pushing paper, spinning riddles. How can you sleep at night knowing what you do ain't right? Private jets might make you feel so separate. You don't get your feet wet in a conversation. But all over Earth, people are in need. Water tables dwindle and so do the bees. And this is a bias where we need trees to breathe. And overconsumption's a spiritual disease. And I'm kinda bold, I can be cold. I got the fighter and the lover in me. So I can see every side of this immense tide rolling into devastation. No place to hide, no place to hide. Destroyer, 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 destroyer. I see you've been hiding your garbage at various ways. Hey, submerging nuclear waste may have seemed like a good plan at the time. I guess somehow along the way towards overexpanding, thought it also made sense to wrap everything in plastics, single coated everything, driving up the infrastructure that we bring. Every single thing it keeps breaking down until we consume it. We consume it. Destroy.
Okay, she is back. That is Kinnie Starr with Destroyer. And we're now going to listen to a clip from Kinnie talking about a health crisis that she had and how, the allopathic doctors have systemically diminished her concern, but she is celebrating because she was grateful to have received care in Mexico.
Celebrating because I am 9 days post fibroid tumor and uterus removal. I am one of the lucky ones. And isn't that weird? Isn't that a weird thing to say, that to be female, consider care for chronic pain to make you a lucky one? Women's surgeries for reproductive disorders in so-called Canada are the last to be scheduled in the operating room. There's a number of different statistics that are available, but I'm not here to just rattle off statistics. I'm more here to talk about my story and to celebrate the fact that it's spring and that I'm alive and that I was able to find a solution for 10 years of chronic pain. 5 years in the north. Since I moved to the north, over 5 years I saw 9 different doctors, and none of those doctors took me seriously until I was able to, I spoke, with a personal friend who understands women's reproductive issues, Anne-Marie Caillé, and she said, oh, you really need a pelvic scan if that's what's been going on for you, and it's been that many years. And she was kind enough to advocate for me, and Nurse Dana up in the north was kind enough to listen to me, and together they were able to activate one of the doctors there who did a pelvic scan, a mass, and even the name of that doctor was Dr. Patricia Jang, and I'm very grateful for her too. And do you know that even when they could see the mass, one of the resident doctors said, oh, it's probably just a fibroid. So let's stop right there and talk about what fibroids are. Fibroids are tumors, muscular networks that use the body's resources to create themselves. They leach on the body's vitamin and nutrient capacity, and they take all of the vitality from the host. So for 10 years, I had shortness of breath and a sense in my low back that was like the ligaments were going to snap. And none of the allopathic doctors that were attending to me post-car accident thought to do a pelvic scan. And then in the north, they also didn't listen to me. Now, do I think I'm unique? Absolutely not. Do I think I'm special? Absolutely not. That's why I'm talking about this. I'm not talking about this because I think I'm unique. I'm talking about this because I think this is systemic, and I know it is. So right now, I'm in a position where I'm recovering from a surgery that I probably needed 5, even 10 years ago. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but this won't be the first, or this won't be the last video where I talk about this. Right now, I want to thank my dear Calecita for guiding me through this whole process. I was lucky enough to have booked some time down in Mexico. I booked that time, 6 or 9 months in advance so that it was affordable. I used points during that time because I thought I needed it as a writing break. And as it turned out, I was in dire need of surgical care. And my beloved hermanita was able to guide me through the process. I'm going to talk more about this and about the surgeons and about my experience. And I know that there's a lot of women podcasting about fibroid tumors and endometriosis and adenomyosis, I think it's called. But suffice it to say that this is not a singular issue, and we need to stop right now calling fibroid tumors fibroids. It's not just a fibroid. Would you say to someone who came in with a cavity, oh, it's cavity. Cavities are common. Like, of course not. Fibroid tumors are tumors. So let's just start there. So this is my first video about this. Again, I'm not unique. I would encourage anybody who's been through stuff like this to talk about it publicly. What I do know is slowly over time, if more women are vocal about their experiences, we slowly change the structural inequities that allow women to continue living in chronic pain.
Leave it to Kinnie Starr to talk about changes needed in women's health and also the health of our mother. Systemic change. We simply must be heard, and no more harm to women's bodies or that of our planet. As we near the end of the show today, Disability Pride Month on the Red Road Journey radio show, we wanted to draw your attention to some compassionate reminders. I follow a woman on Facebook, goes by the name of Bendy Bunny, and I encourage you to do so as well. And there was one meme in particular that I wanted to draw your attention to today. It says, in order to fully respect mentally ill and disabled people, you have to give up the idea that the world is a fair place where everyone eventually gets what they deserve and work for. Because if you don't consciously challenge that mindset, you'll find yourself directly or indirectly blaming struggling people for their struggles. The facts are that disability and illness can hit anyone. And the facts are that sometimes there isn't an effective treatment. Those are the facts that you have to face and internalize if you want to be a genuinely supportive ally. And disabled and mentally ill people deserve to not be in poverty, no matter if they're able to work full-time, only a little, or Not at all. We're a society, and ill people need to and deserve to be supported and deserve to not constantly struggle with their finances. I think I would add to this as well, not to have to hide or disguise, minimize their relationship status in order to get the benefits that they require to live a life worth living. I'm thinking of a dear friend of mine who has put off her wedding plans because both of them receive ODSP. And once married, their income would go down. It would become a combined income and they would be receiving less money to live each month. It's sad, but again, the facts. This is the reality in 2026. Now, some of you might say we've come a long way. I want you to pause for a moment and listen to this. I bet you did not know that it was illegal once to be disabled in public.
To be illegal to be disabled in public. Cities across North America made it a crime for someone who was visibly disabled to be seen on the street. Now guess what year these laws were officially done? You might be thinking during the Renaissance, but you'd be wrong. This law wasn't officially removed until 1974. My mom would have been 13 years old, even though she looks younger than I do. The laws called them unsightly and a disgusting object. Those were the real words used. Back then, if you were disabled, you could be fined or even arrested for being seen. The whole point being that they wanted to keep disabled people out of sight. Now here's the part that's going to stop you in your tracks. The same discomfort that put those laws on the books is the same discomfort that I see sometimes when a stranger stares at my daughter. Now that law disappeared, but the discomfort didn't. It just got slightly quieter. So don't hide from it. Treat people with disabilities like they belong, because they do.
It is often said, all my relations. And it is a philosophy that is foundational to Indigenous ways of knowing, expressing the true interconnectedness of all living things. It means that humans are related to and responsible for one another, their ancestors, future generations, the lands, animals, plants, and water. And it's a philosophy that recognizes that every element of the universe is worthy of respect. You belong, we belong. You are alive, I am alive. And we're going to go out with a song by Aqua, Nibii, Waawaaskone, and it's entitled I'm Alive. Thanks for listening on the Red Road Journey radio show, and we will see you next Sunday afternoon. But here she is with I'm Alive.
I can't believe I'm alive. I could have died so many times. It wasn't my time to shine. Spirit told me why. Don't you know the universe got its plan? It knows your purpose like the back of your hand. Don't you hide who you are inside. Let your spirit soar so high. We are all of Creator's child. Yes, we share our mother of life. Trust your and not your fears. Open yourself to what is really real. I can't believe I'm alive. I could have died so many times. It wasn't my time to shine. Spirit told me why. Believe it comes to those who fall because you're forced to face it all. The flaws, mistakes, the wrong turns, it all amounts to your lessons learned. There's a light deep inside your heart, your soul, your reason why you're a gift to all of us. Creation exists with one love. I can't believe I'm alive. I could have died so many times. It wasn't my time to shine. Spirit told me why. I can't believe I'm alive. I could have died so many times. It wasn't my time to shine.